Hey everybody, in this video we are going to create an audio and video calling application using Kotlin in Android Studio. So let's get started. As you can see, I have opened the application in my Android device and in the Android emulator. In the emulator I have given the user ID as 1200 and in the physical device I will give it as 1600, and then I will initiate a call from my Android emulator to the physical device. So now as you can see, I have initiated the call and my physical device got the notification and there is no lag in the video. There is a seamless connection of two devices. So in this video we are going to develop this application using ZegoCloud. So to use live streaming of video and audio over the internet in our Android application, we are going to use ZegoCloud SDK in our Android application. So first thing first, what is ZegoCloud? ZegoCloud is a global communication service provider which provides developer-friendly, powerful SDK and APIs to build many communication features. Let's get started. This is the website of ZegoCloud. It's ZegoCloud.com. And here we are just going to sign up for a new account. Here you have to enter your first name. I'm just going to enter the details here. Here we just have to enter the company name. If you don't have your company name, just enter your name. I'm going to enter developer chart. If you have your own website, then you can enter. It's just optional, and just select a job level that you are suitable with, and just select the job title and industry which you are working in, and your mobile number. And now you will get 10,000 minutes of free trial into your free account of ZegoCloud, which you can use for free. And now let's go to the dashboard. Here. So this will be your dashboard where you will see your bill overviews and all resources and all things. You can just have a look up on it. You can just do some experiments with yourself. So now we are going to create our first project here. Click on the first project, and here we are going to select the video and voice and video call. You can even experiment with all these options. And here it is asking for the project name. I'm just going to name it as video call. We are going to use UiKit in our Android application. And if you want some customization and if you have a much more complex application, you can just go with SDKs. But for this project, which is a simple video calling application, we are going to use UiKit. And if you want me to create a video on the SDKs part, you can just comment down. So let's start with the UiKit. So here we are in the framework section. From here we are just going to use for Android. And in this UI configuration, we are going to select the one-on-one call. You can even select group calling to enable group calling in your Android application. But for this project, we are just going to create a one-on-one call, and just we are going to click on save and start. And here you will get your app ID and app sign-in key. And here you will see an option of quick start. Just click on the quick start, and the documentation for using ZegoCloud SDK in Android will be open. And just go to the quick start with call invitation here. So you can read this documentation. Here you will get all the information about it. First thing first, we are going to add the jitpeg.io in our settings.gradle. And now I have opened Android Studio and I have created a new project. And just go in the settings.gradle, and in this dependency resolution manager in the repositories below the Maven center, we are going to add Maven URL equals to URI, and we're just going to copy the HTTP path from here and just change the single inverted comma to double inverted comma. And after that, let's go to build.gradle.kts and here we are going to add the depend implementations and just paste it down in the build.gradle. So now as you can see this, just a minute, we have to format this to TLS Kotlin. So just change the single inverted comma to double inverted comma and add up brackets to it. Yeah, now it's done. Now you can click on the sync now button. Yeah, now we are done. Now let's come to the activity Android, and now here I'm just going to paste the UI code that I have created. I'm not going to code all that because it will just take a lot of time, so I'm just going to paste the UI code here. And also you will require these additional icons that I'm using here. I have uploaded this project on GitHub. There's a link in the description from where you can go to the GitHub repository and just download these vectors from there and just paste the vectors in the drawer. And also I have used custom fonts in here. As you can see, here is the man rope extra bold. To import this man rope extra bold, just click on the text and go to attributes and scroll down to the text family. From here just scroll down and select more fonts. Into the more font, just select man rope, and from man rope I'm going to use the extra bold one. And similarly I'm going to import this for medium one also, man rope medium, man rope, and select the medium one. Yeah, now it's got. Yeah, now it's done. So now our activity main.xml is complete. Now we are in the activity main.kt. Here first we are going to have the user ID text field and the button. We are going to use the latent int var. We will just name this as user ID text field, which will return edit text. Yeah, and a second latent int var for the button, which will be a button. Sorry, not bundle, a button. Yeah, and we are going to make this private latent int var. Yeah, now we are going to create a new function here. It will also be a private function, name as video call services, and just a minute. Here we will require a user ID as the parameter. It will be a string. So now in the video call services function, we have to paste this code, but this code is in Java, so I have converted this code into Kotlin. And now you have to just paste this code which has the app ID, app sign in, application and all. So for here user ID, okay, I'll just rename this to capital D. Yeah, so I have converted the Java to Kotlin here, and you have to just paste this in this code. We are just going to have the app ID, app sign in, application, call invitation config, notification config, and rest of the code. And also we are going to call the pre-built con invitation services, which will trigger the user ID which you have entered. It will be your user ID which will be inherited to the ZegoCloud SDK. After this we are going to bind the button and text field with their respective IDs. So here we will write user find over id r.id dot user ID text field, and then button equals to find over id r.id dot button next. I'll just remove the semicolon. So after it we are going to set the button dot on click listener. Set on click listener, we are just going to get the set on click listener, and here we are going to create a variable user ID it will be the string which we are getting from the text field of user ID. So you will pass user ID text field dot text dot to string. After we will check that if the user ID is not empty, is not empty. Yeah. So now we are going to create a. So now here we are going to create a new activity. Empty views under activity, and we will just name it as video call activity. I'm just going to video call activity. So now here in the video call activity.xml, here also I'm going to just paste the UI code that I have already coded, and don't worry, you will get this code in the GitHub repository itself. Okay, so now here we have to import the mandrop semi-bold. I'm just going to click on this text field here, and I'm going to just import the mandrop semi-bold. Yeah, now it's done. Just a minute. So now our UI code is done. So to explain what is there in this UI, there is simple text, and here we're going to have edit text input edit text from Google Material, and after we are going to have a linear layout, which you can see here we have two buttons which are invisible. If the user enters some user ID, then it will be visible. And in this linear layout, as you can see here, we have two ZegoCloud call invitation buttons. As you can see here, we have two buttons in the linear layout. So now let's start the coding part of the call video call activity. So now here in the video call activity, we are going to have our private int var text view. As you can see in the text view, we are going to show the hi user ID. We are going to show the user ID here. So we are using the text view. It will be of text type, and then we are going to use private int var video call VDN. It will be of type Zego, and it will be of type Zego send call invitation button. As you can see, we are using the widget here of just a minute. As you can see, we are using the com.ZegoCloud.UiKit.prebuild.invite.widget.Zego send call invitation button. So the same we are using here. And this I'm going to just replicate this and change the video to audio call button. And then we are going to have another private int var for the linear layout. And it will be of type linear layout. If you're wondering what is the linear layout we are doing here, as you can see, we have set the visibility to invisible of this linear layout, and whenever the user will enter the user ID, the linear layout with the two buttons will be enabled or will be shown to the user, right? So after this, we are going to create two functions here. This will be private functions. The name of these functions will be start video call, and it will take parameter as receiver ID, and it will be of type string. And in this function, we are going to call the video call button dot set is video call enabled, and we are just going to pass here true because this is the function for video call. After, we are going to call the video call button, and here we are going to set the resource ID equals to Zego underscore UiKit small kit underscore call. After that, we are once again going to call video call button dot set dot set invitee, set invitees, and here we're going to pass the list of Zego UiKit user, and in the user we are going to pass the receiver ID. Done. This is the pretty much for start video call. I'm just going to copy its private function and just paste it once again, and now rename the video to audio so that it will name as start audio call. All will be same. Just change this video call btn to audio call btn, and here pass for, and here we will pass false because it is not a video call, it's a audio call. So after doing all this, we are just going to bind the layouts with its respective IDs. So here we also require a private determinant var for receiver ID, receiver user ID, and it will be from edit text. Yeah. After binding the layouts with its respective IDs, we are going to code the intent section in the main activity. So here we are going to create an intent val intent equals to intent, and here we're going to pass this at the rate main activity, and in the target class we are going to pass the video call activity class.java. After it, we are going to also pass intent dot put extra. We are going to pass a string here name as user ID, and the value will be user ID. Yeah. After this, we are going to start the activity, and we are going to pass intent. Now let's come back to video call activity here. Here we are going to create a user ID variable equals to intent dot get string extra, and here we're going to pass the user ID, the same ID which we have passed in the main activity. After this, we are going to set the text view to the user ID. So here I'm going to get hi $user ID and exclamation mark. Yeah. And after this, we are going to add a text change listener on the receiver user ID. So let's call the receiver user ID dot add text change listener, and here we are going to pass a object which will return our text watcher, and here in the text watcher we are going to pass this parameters, and here after this we are going to add the curly brackets to the text watcher. Yeah, pretty much this much. And we are just going to implement these members. Select all the members and click on OK. Okay, let's terminate. And here in the on text section, we are going to write our code. And in this on text change, we are going to create a new variable name as _receiver ID. And here we are going to take the input of this receiver user ID dot text dot to string to get the user ID that user has entered. After getting the receiver ID, we are going to check that if the receiver ID is not empty, and then we are going to perform the operations. And the operations will be, firstly we are going to set the button layout visibility to visible, to view, set the visibility to view dot visible. After that, we are just going to call the functions that we have created already, that is start video call, and here we are going to pass the receiver ID, and we are going to call the start audio call, and also here we are going to pass receiver ID. Now that's pretty much that you want. Now that's pretty much you have to add video calling and audio calling into your Android application. And now just we are going to run the application and test that is it working or not. Okay, so we have forgot to call the video call services in the main activity. So just we are going to call the video call services, and here we are going to pass the user ID. And below the private function video call services, we are going to call on destroy override function here. And in this function we are going to call the Zego UiKit pre-built call invitation services. Dot uninit. So now that's pretty much how you can run the application and test by yourself. So as you can see, our application is running pretty fine, and now it's asking for the user ID, and here as you can see we have two devices. One is my physical Pixel 6a device, and second is an Android emulator Pixel 6. So in the Pixel 6, which is the Android emulator, I'm just going to enter the user ID. So just you can put any user ID you want. I'm just going to enter 1200 here, and I will just click on the next button. And as you can see, it's saying hi, let's start a video / audio call. So now as you can see in the mobile emulator, it's also asking me for user ID. I'm just going to enter the user ID 1600 here, and just I'm going to click on next. And now from my Android emulator, I'm going to initiate a video call to the real device, which is Pixel 6a here. I'm just going to enter the user ID of the other device, which is 1600, and I'm going to trigger the video call. So on my Pixel 6a device, I'm going to accept the video call, and as you can see, the video call has been started, and it is the live video call with the audio. It's working pretty fine, and here also you will get some additional features in the ZegoCloud SDK. As you can see, by clicking on it, you can end the call, you can turn off the microphone or turn off the speaker. You will get a lot of features here. Also, you can have a group calling SDK. So that's it for today, guys. See you in the next video.